Thunderstorm asthma outbreaks are taking place across Victoria this week. More than 200 people have been hospitalised with asthma-related issues, which is more than 5 times the normal amount. Joining us live is Biosciences Professor Ed Newbigin, who is also the coordinator of the Melbourne Pollen count. Appreciate you making the time. Thank you. Just explain for us what actually causes thunderstorm asthma. Do we know?
Okay, so thunderstorm asthma is a sudden uptick in the number of people presenting to hospitals and emergency departments suffering from respiratory distress. That can be asthma and all sorts of related conditions. And it's caused at this time of year by the co-occurrence of high grass pollen levels and also particular types of thunderstorms which roll in across Victoria. And they're picking up grass pollen from pasturelands to the state's west and north, and they're bringing it into the cities and towns of Victoria.
And it does seem to be Victoria that suffers from this the most. You don't hear about it much in other states. And of course, Victoria suffered through that deadly event several years ago.
Yes, of course. And it's got Victoria's got a long history of thunderstorm asthma events, which we know stretches back into the 1980s and presumably before that. It has occurred elsewhere in Australia, so we know about events in inland New South Wales. And I think the important ingredients here are close proximity of large areas of grazing lands. So in Victoria, if you look west from Melbourne, you've got grazing lands all the way to the South Australian border. And we get our predominant weather comes across those grazing lands, and the similar conditions will be occurring in New South Wales. So we know that it does occur in inland New South Wales as well, and it's occurred in Canberra too.
And does it really just impact people who already have other respiratory conditions, or are people who are usually fine in terms of their respiratory setup? Are they usually okay?
Yeah. So if we look back at the event in 2016, in November of 2016, about 2/3 of the people who reported to emergency departments, presented to emergency departments, knew they had asthma, but about 1/3 of them didn't know they had asthma, and this was their first experience of asthma. So they had what we would call subclinical asthma. They experienced some conditions of asthma, but it wasn't enough for them to seek a complete diagnosis. So yes, some people, it will be their thunderstorm.
Looks like we're having a few audio issues there, but you get the picture. Time to be on high alert for those in Victoria who might be suffering from some of those respiratory conditions.